I was gonna do this lesson next week or something. It's about witches. Since we're in that season, you know what I'm saying? Got that vibrant witch spirit going on, and I'll just do a lesson on there. Remind people of that spirit and how it's growing and growing. And just like we did with the music thing, we're gonna go back in the history of witches in America. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to Brother Ron about that a little earlier. He was probably watching big time, Brother King. You'll get what I'm talking about in a few minutes. Oh, you too, Brother Ishmael. But yeah, y'all will let him go out. All praise to y'all. Get started. So we're gonna go where witches started from a biblical sense, and go, obviously go into some scriptures, and then show some, precepts, of how the world is accepting witchcraft. Not to hold this. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna start. First, I want to start off with this right here. This would, if y'all don't know, this is the new Supreme Court judge. If y'all been watching the news, a lot of the Me Too movement, the women were mad and upset that he was accused.
The Me Too movement?
It's called Me Too. It's a movement. It's like, I've been raped, I've been sexually harassed. Me too, me too. Okay, cat calling, me too, me too. It's like, and again, rape and all that is not cool. If you did that in the old days, you was done. I mean, you raped a woman. I mean, that was no, now if she didn't yell, and she, saying, and if she could be heard, that's something else. That's, y'all enjoyed it, but you didn't want to marry him or something, something. But rape is very serious in the Bible, and obviously, if anybody reads the story of Jacob's daughter, being taken by the Canaanites, one of the Hamite princes, they were killed. Yeah, they were killed because they defiled a daughter of Zion. So rape is very serious. So it's nothing to be lied on. But again, women do lie, and that's one of the things women will do, and there are wicked women. So witches, and y'all, as we're gonna go on in the lesson, y'all said, I forbid a witch not to even live. Not to even breathe. But tomorrow, some witches. There's called the witches of where is it? Dozens of witches. Now this is real. This is happening tomorrow on the Shabbat. Dozens of witches say they plan to gather in New York City this month to hex Court Justice Brett, who was sworn in to the nation's highest court last week, despite facing several allegations of sexual misconduct. Dakota something, a Brooklyn-based witch who is organizing the October 20th event, said the witches see the hex as a radical act of resistance that continues witchcraft's long history as a refuge and a weapon for the oppressed, downtrodden, and marginalized. So these witches are serious. This is all on Yahoo, CNN, it's a big thing. And I think they even charging $5 if you want to join in with the hex. I'm telling brother, they got to make some money here, If they got all this power, they could just abracadabra some money, some Benjamins.
Billions and trillions come up, man.
But they power is in tithes, no?
Win that lottery.
That's what I'm saying. They've been talking about that lottery today, man. $2 a ticket. People paying $2 a ticket.
$1 billion.
There you go.
I'll pass on it, but the lottery is cursed though. Most people get their money, their life goes down to hell. Most of these people got drug addictions, bad money management. No matter how much money you got, if you can't manage something, and then when you got more money, people give you more debt, and then you spend all the money, and then it be like $30 million in debt. You spent it all, But yeah, I think that was a great timing for this lesson too. You know, obviously Halloween is coming up. Sam's Hang Day is a very demonic time, and the witches and demonic forces are coming out. You know, whether you agree with that judge or not, I don't really care about the society stuff like that. But you know, I just thought it was hard. You know, these witches are serious. You know, but we're gonna start from their creation. Where witches originate from? We'll go to the book of Enoch. Oh no, I want to read this for Brother Ron. Because what you were just saying a few moments ago, talking about, you know, the troubles and whatnot. But you talking about, you know, your troubles and, you know, yada yada. But this is First Chronicles 21. 21, probably around 14. Okay. Y'all put this on my spirit when I heard it. And Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel. Because it was a crime, it was a sin, you can't number Israel. And David said unto Joab and to the rulers of the people, go number Israel from Beersheba even to Dan, and bring the number of them to me, that I may know it. And Joab answered, the Yah make his people 100 times so many more as they be. But my master, the king, are they not all my master's servants? Why then doeth my master require this thing? Why will he be a cause of trespass to Israel? Nevertheless, the king's word prevailed against Joab. Wherefore Joab departed and went throughout all Israel and came to Jerusalem. And Joab gave the sum of the number of the people unto David. And all they of Israel were 1,000, 100,000 men that drew sword. And Judah was 460 and 10,000 men that drew sword. But Levi and Benjamin counted he not among them, for the king's word was abominable to Joab. And Yah was displeased with this thing. Therefore he smote Israel. You see how one man called, this is not the topic, but it's a side note, how one person, you know, all for one and one for all, that's what Yah is really about, family. You know, you seen your brother do something, you didn't stop him? that's what Yah is about. You seen him do it and you didn't stop him? You know? So, and David said, verse 8, and David said unto Yah, I have sinned greatly, because I have done this thing. But now I beseech thee, do away the iniquity of thy servant, for I have done very foolishly. And Yah spake unto Gad, David's seer, saying, go and tell David, saying, thus said Yah, I offer thee 3 things. Now Yah is cold. Yah, I ain't gonna say Yah cold. Yah is very animated in his judgments right here. And this is not the point of it. It doesn't make the point, but he's very, you know, animated. You know what I'm saying? Like, what weapon do you want to die? You want the axe? You want to die by water hose? Do you want to die? I mean, how you want this? You know, because, you know.
How you want this punishment?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
How you want this whooping?
And this was death. This time how you want to die.
I understand.
Yeah. But, and David said unto Yah, verse 9, and Yah spake unto David, David's seer, saying, go and tell David, saying, thus said Yah, I offer thee 3 things, choose thee one of them, that I may do it unto thee. So Gad came to David, and said unto him, thus said Yah, choose thee, either 3 years famine, or 3 months be destroyed before thy foes, while that the sword of thine enemies overtake thee, or else 3 days the sword of Yah, even the pestilence in the land, and the angel of Yah destroying throughout all the coast of Israel. Now, therefore, advise thyself, that word I shall bring again to him that sent me. And David said unto Gad, I am in great strife. Let me fall now into the hand of Yah, for very great are his mercies, but let me not fall into the hand of man. So I'll read a little bit, but 13 is the main point. So Yah sent pestilence upon Israel, and therefore fell of Israel 70,000 men, and Yah sent an angel unto Jerusalem to destroy it. And as he was destroying, Yah behold, and he repented him of the evil, and said to the angel that destroyed it, Enough, it is enough. Stay now thine hand. And the angel of Yah stood by the threshing floor of Ornan, the Jebusite. And I just wanted to point out, we always go through things here and there. But on 13, what I'm saying, again, this isn't about this, anybody doing wrong. The point is, it's always the best to trust in Yah and to fall in his hands, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Verse 13. And David said unto Gad, I am in great strait. Let me fall now into the hand of Yah, for very great are his mercies. But let me not fall into the hand of man. So when I first read that, that always cheered my spirit, you know what I'm saying? Get your arm cut off, I'll be all right, y'all do something, you know what I'm saying? Something, you know what I'm saying? But just sharing, cheer up spirits. But we go with go in the book of Enoch, go in the history of witches, where they come from, and whatnot. Enoch. Somebody taught these witches how to be witches.
Yep.
And it wasn't Adam.
It was Satan's boys.
It was Satan in the game, boys.
That's right.
Baby daddies.
Hey.
the original deadbeat baby daddies. But okay, this is Enoch chapter 6. We're gonna probably gonna go through 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12. Chapter 6. And it came to pass when the children of man had multiplied, that in the days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. I can't wait for that to come back, man. I can't wait. Y'all will. I'll be in the kingdom. Everything gonna be woo. Man, beautiful, the flowers, just not the, people, the flowers, the food, pecan pie, everything's gonna be so better. I love pecan pie, you know what I'm saying? But in the kingdom, the earth ain't gonna be defiled, everything, the nutrients gonna be back in order, the apples, man, this is delicious. Yeah, the juicy ones, man. Yeah, what I'm talking about, man. And the angels, the children of heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of man, and beget us children. And Jaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall be, and I shall alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath, and I'm sure y'all remember this, and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecation, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. Then swore they all together and bound themselves by a mutual imprecation upon it. And they were in all 200 who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon, and they called it Mount Hermon because they had swore and bound themselves by mutual imprecation upon it. And these are the names of their leaders. I'll skip over the names. Y'all want to read the names? Y'all can. Chapter 7. And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one. And they began to go in unto them, and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them, and this is the part of, with any man gonna give you something. When a woman is with a man, married man, anything, whether he's a drug dealer, whether he's a a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. He's a firefighter. He's going to teach her something. You know what I'm saying? He's going to, and this is what they started to do. Hey, baby, you want to learn how to do a little black magic? Show. You know what I'm saying? It was all for it. All right, and because remember, you know, just like the other lessons, you know, they're imprinting. You know, a man is imprinting women normally with his spirit. Just imagine angels imprinting women with their spirit. I mean, that's a whole different level, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And they taught them charms and enchantments and the cutting of roots. And who did they teach this to? This is the beginning of witches. This is how witches.
They went into the women, so they taught the women.
Yeah, but they didn't teach them. And my point is, they wasn't teaching Adam's, the man over there. They was teaching the women. And this is deep, because this is just like what Satan told. There you go. You go. Oh, we on the same page, girl. Okay, because this is the same thing. Yes. Satan promised Eve. Yes. You gonna be like God now. That's deep. Yeah. I'm glad I see about it. Yeah, there you go. All right, and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with herbs, and they became pregnant, and they bore great giants, whose height was, some translations say 3,000, some say 300. I'm more leaning towards 300, but ells, cubits, feet. I mean, who consumed all the acquisitions of man, and when man could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind, and they began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh and drink the blood. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones. Chapter 8. And Azazel. And remember that this fellow named here right here for later on, Azazel. And Azazel taught man to make swords and knives. You know, women, bad. No offense for women, but women get mad around knives is a problem. You know, the first thing they making here is knives and sword. You know, an angry woman in the kitchen. You know, I heard. You know, we all heard stories. You know,
we ain't bought it.
You know, and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth, and the art of working them, and bracelets, and ornaments, and use of antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all of coloring textures. And there arose much godlessness, and they committed fornication, and many were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. Samjaza taught enchantments and cutting of roots. Aromos, the resolving of enchantments. Bar something taught astrology. You know, a lot of these witches are big in enchantment, root cutting, astrology. This is where they're getting all this stuff from their baby daddies. Kokabal, the constellations, you know, big on the, ooh, what's my horoscope, ooh, you know, my lucky numbers, all this stuff. Where they getting this stuff? Esquel, the knowledge of the clouds. April, the signs of the earth. The signs of the sun. And Sorel, the course of the moon. And another thing, women and their cycles are, you know, very connected to the moon cycles. You know, if anybody do research on that, their cycles are very connected. Because the moon is the feminine principle and the sun is the masculine principle. And as man perished, they cried, and their cry went up to heaven. And then Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven and saw much blood being shed upon the earth, and all the lawlessness being wrought upon the earth. And they said one to another, the earth made without inhabiting cries the voice of their criers up to the gates of heaven. And now to you, the Holy One of heaven, and the souls of man make their suit, saying, bring our cause before Yah. And they said to Yah, of ages, Yah of masters, Yah of masters, King of kings, and Yah of ages. The throne of thy glory standeth unto all the generations of the age, and thy name holy and glorious, and blessed unto all the ages. Thou hast made all things, and power over all things hast thou, and all things are naked and open thy sight, and thou seest all things, and nothing can hide itself from thee. Thou seest what Azazel has done, who has taught all unrighteousness on earth, and revealed the eternal secrets. So, you wonder why, this is some deep stuff you have to think about. This is what Satan promised Eve. I'm about to open your eyes, girl. Not Adam. Adam still looking like, oh, wow. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, man. She getting the benefits, demonic benefits of this, because they teaching her this, and all her offspring and whatnot, who have taught all unrighteousness on the earth and revealed the eternal secrets which were kept in heaven, which man were striving to learn, and Simjaza, to whom thou hast given authority to bear rule over his associates, and they have gone to the daughters of man upon the earth, and have slept with the women, and have defiled themselves, and reviled and revealed to them all kinds of sins. And you see why a lot of when wicked men, just like it flows into the incubus lesson a couple weeks ago. See, when these women get with these wicked men, and these wicked men give them, like Bonnie and Clyde. I ain't saying which one was wicked first, or they're both wicked, but I'm just saying, like, imagine if Clyde was wicked first, and he came to, Elvis, how he was turning out them women. When the wicked man come to them and bringing something that she is interested and yearning for, she will long to do the will of that wicked man. And this is what they're doing here, just like the NBA players, these men of stature, these great and mighty men, the man with money. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I'll take you around the world tonight. We go to Paris, and tomorrow we'll be in New Orleans, and then go on the boat. She's like, oh, yeah. Unless she's grounded in the word, that's, preach the Proverbs 31. That's why you got to raise your daughters and your loved ones, in the word, so they can, understand the traps of that, And the women have bore giants, and the whole earth have thereby been filled with the blood of unrighteousness. And now behold, the souls of those who have died are crying and making their suit to the gates of heaven, and their lamentations have ascended and cannot cease because of the lawless deeds which are wrought on the earth. And thou knowest all things before they come to pass, and thou seest these things, and thou doest suffer them, and thou doest not say to us what we are to do to them in regard to these. That's another thing, that's something, I really meditate and study on. Man, y'all is very, you be like, y'all, what's up, y'all, why you ain't doing nothing? Y'all just be like, man, my patience great. You know what I'm saying? You be like, yeah, they killed 100 people. I know. Yeah, they killed 1,000 people. She just broke into my house, y'all. I know. Y'all is very merciful and very patient. So, again, it's a thing about patience that we must learn. But that's why nobody's going to have an excuse on Judgment Day. Because, man, I was super patient with you, man. All the time you was hitting that crack pipe, I was like, Bobby, don't do it. Bobby, don't do it. Every time you was committing fornication, don't do it, Samantha. Very patient, you know what I'm saying? So, just point that out, because even right here, the watchers are like, the angels are like, yeah, you ain't going to do nothing. You ain't going to do nothing, all right, and then go to, I think I'm going to read, probably skip over 10. Give me a moment real quick. Probably skip over 10. Probably go to, probably 10 and 7. And the whole earth hath been corrupted throughout the works that were taught by Azazel. To him ascribe all sin. Dang. And this is why Satan wanted to go after the woman first, because the woman is the weaker vessel. but she's powerful too. Once she got done out of fallen angel baby daddy camp, she came to the man a whole different being. You talking about a Proverb 31 woman, you seen her in high school, a sweet, kind woman. She went to college and she came back as a stripper, knowing how to entice men, knowing everything. And these women going out turning them out. They're toying with you. They call them boy toys. You bored me. I'm just going to toy with you. Because they perverted the women. Okay. 8. And Gabriel said, Yah, proceed against the bastards and the reprobates, and against the children of fornication, and destroy the children of, I'll skip over that, but chapter 12. I just wanted to read that main one, 7, verse 7. Chapter 12. Before these things Enoch was hidden, and no one of the children of men knew where he was hidden, and where he abode, and what he had become, and what had become of him. And his activities had to do with the watchers, and his days were with the holy ones. And Enoch was blessing Yah of majesty, and the King of the ages. Man, boy, Enoch got it. Man, boy, ain't it, boy? I tell you.
Enoch was straight with y'all, man.
Enoch, Abraham, and Noah, boy, they got some high roles in the kingdom. And Enoch was blessing Yah of majesty, and the King of ages. And lo, the watchers called me and said to me, Enoch, thou scribe of righteousness, go declare to the watchers of the heaven, who have left the high heaven, the holy eternal place, and have defiled themselves with women, and have done as the children of earth do, and have taken unto themselves wives. Ye have wrought great destruction on the earth. See that? Because they brought these witches here. They brought these monsters here. I mean, some of these, boy, man, these guys turn these women, the women who do succumb to them, I mean, that's why the scriptures say we don't go into, I ain't going to eat too much, I have to talk about it a little bit. Ye have wrought great destruction on the earth, and ye shall have no peace, nor forgiveness of sin. And in so as much as they delight themselves in their children, Enoch is talking to the angels, fallen angels who had children, because, you know, as the scriptures say, blessed is the man who have a quiver full of them, and the angels will have to have children too. The murder of their beloved ones shall they see, and over the destruction of their children shall they lament, and shall make supplication unto eternity. But mercy and peace shall ye not attain. That's deep, man. You know, they probably crying about, you know, their children right now. I miss Bobby. We used to play football, man. You know, hey, Bobby. They probably, you know, some of them chained up in Tartarus right now. You know, you wrong for this, y'all. You know, I want my. You know, but yeah, they love their children though, man. Satan children. I mean, Satan ain't gonna die for them, but you know, up until that point, you know, there's love there. You know what I'm saying? I would say that. You know, until, you know, you can ask anything of me except that. You know what I'm saying? I give you some money, I go out and fight for you, but I'm not putting my life on the line for you, man. That's why you ever watch 48 Hours? They be snitching on each other like, boy, yeah, he killed him. He killed him. Ain't no order amongst thieves.
48 Hours.
No, the TV show, The Criminal. Where the detectives go out trying to solve crimes, but people be snitching on each other left and right. Boy, I ain't no snitch. They say if you see somebody smoking a cigarette when they come out, it's bad news for you. they done told them. but this is y'all warning. Okay, so we understand the root of where witches come from. They come from the fallen angels who taught them how to cutting the roots and enchantments and all that other stuff. So now we'll go to Exodus 22 and Yah's warning about these witches, okay? Because Yah don't like these baby mamas. Exodus 22:18. You know, and sometimes I didn't have too much time to go do like the when they used to kill all the witches back in the like in the 1800s. But I'm sure everybody here familiar with that. But now you understand, and those were Puritans, so they were, you know, they had a very harsh manner with them towards things. You know, it was not. They were basically pre-Christ type of people. You know, they would kill you. You know, it wouldn't be like, hey, get out of here. You know, they were like, no, you're a witch. You know, nowadays it's like, hey, you can't be amongst the congregation. We're gonna pray for you or whatnot, or you know, come back and get ready. They would kill you. You know, literally. So, but that's not necessarily unjust because witches are some evil beings. You know what I'm saying? They operate with Satan. So just like tomorrow, they'll be placing a hex on the Supreme Court judge tomorrow, and they will ask for $5 donations. I don't get that, boy. All these people, man, they be into all type of magic type stuff, man. They be putting chicken blood on their head, and they can't summon $20 to come up.
You don't want it. I got $5 on it. $5 to get in, man. I want in $5. I want in.
Man, I never get that, boy. They'll be telling you they can make you rich and all that, but they want you to pay them for their services. What you mean you can make you rich? You supposed to be able to manifest some gold, some something. They can't do nothing, boy. Just, you know.
Nothing.
Just nothing.
Yahushua don't want to do it.
All right, Exodus 22:18. All right, 22:18. Thou